If I had to lose 10 kilos all over again, these are 5 healthy habits that I'd never, ever, ever do again. For those of you new to my channel, my name is Ruthie. I'm a nutritionist and health and wellness coach, also founder of a platform called Nourish, which provides tailored and generalized meal plans. If that's something you're interested in, please check out my website, send me a DM, leave a comment, anything, happy to help. The first one is saving calories for later. Now, this probably sounds disciplined and feels like you're doing yourself a favor, but it creates a psychological and cognitive problem. When you undereat early in the day, your cortisol stays higher for longer, which then increases appetite later. And on top of that, it creates decision fatigue, which basically just means you don't want to make decisions later on. And you've spent the whole day being good. And by the evening, your ability to self-regulate is lower. And this is why night eating tends to feel harder to control compared to earlier in the day. So even when your total calories on paper look reasonable, you'll struggle. So it typically looks like for breakfast you have eggs and toast, then you might have, I don't know, like an apple, and then for lunch you have 30 grams chicken breast in a chicken Caesar wrap, for example. And then for a snack you have 10 grams of almond and a yogurt. And then for dinner you have McDonald's or a lasagna and then some ice cream. So it starts off great and it ends up horrible. So to prevent this, I would never try saving calories again because it creates a really bad mindset. The second mistake is training based on soreness or sweat. Because soreness and sweat are not indicators of fat loss effectiveness. They're indicators of novelty and stress. So when you are constantly chasing the soreness feeling, you increase your muscle damage without increasing your total weekly output. And then recovery takes longer, your performance drops, and your training quality decreases over time. What fat loss does depend on is how much work you can do that's repeatable week to week. It depends on how well you cover between your sessions, and it depends on whether output stays stable during a deficit. So if training leaves you feeling constantly sore, it usually means you end up doing less total work, not more. So soreness may make you feel like you're doing more, but in reality, it's actually reducing your ability to do more in the long term, or at least in a week, for example. Because if on Monday you're really sore doing legs, you're not going to be doing legs again for like another 2 days. So it's not necessarily helping you. It can actually be counterproductive for you. So it's best to do what works, that is repeatable, that's sustainable. So sustainability is a key in all of this. The third habit is adding cardio to fix a plateau. Now, this seems logical, but once again, there is a reason why it isn't. When fat loss slows, adding cardio just it makes sense because you think your body has adapted and therefore you need to add more stress to it for it to lose the same amount of calories. But this often backfires because extra cardio increases fatigue, which then reduces spontaneous movement. It then lowers your training intensity and it worsens recovery. So while a cardio session does burn calories, it does, your body quietly compensates by lowering the calories you would normally burn in a day. So this usually means you end up doing less walking, you end up doing less movements like this, because even this, right, this is considered non-exercise activity thermogenesis, because even moving any limbs or anything does burn calories, burn something. So any form of movement does burn calories. And so even though you do more cardio, you're doing less of the other types of movement. And so yes, you do add more cardio, but you don't end up seeing change because the deficit disappears through compensation, through doing less in general. And that's why plateaus usually mean adaptation. They don't necessarily mean laziness. And more stress isn't always a way to fix them. This fourth one is what a lot of people tend to get wrong. So weekday dieting and then weekend relaxing. Fat loss does not respond to how strict you are Monday to Friday. It responds to your weekly average. So large swings between restriction and relaxation train your body to expect inconsistency, which then increases water retention, increases appetite swings, it changes metabolic adaptation. And like I always say, you are in a relationship with your body, with your health. And if you're unpredictable, if you're unstable, if you're not there, if you don't show up, it's not going to work. Your body's not going to respond to you in the way that you want it to because you're not showing up for it. And it also can make hunger harder to read. And this is because your intake is never stable long enough for your body to actually understand and regulate itself in terms of when it should be eating. This is why the circadian rhythm exists. I know it's more for like sleep, but it applies to meal times and food as well. And this is why consistency is very important. Consistency does not mean perfection. It means fewer extremes so your body can predict energy and it can respond efficiently. It just means being able to show up for yourself in a predictable manner that your body can understand and then continue that pattern, which then assists you in losing weight. And number 5 is reacting to daily scale changes. Daily scale weight is mostly not fat. And if you think about it, it makes sense. Even if you are overweight, chances are your body fat is not going to be 75% of your body mass. Hopefully it isn't. I mean, obviously if you're obese, it's a bit of a different story, but generally people that come to me when they're overweight, they're not, 75% fat. So when your scale changes day to day, it usually includes things like glycogen storage. And glycogen is glucose stores. Your sodium intake, your hydration, and your digestive content. So when you react to daily scale changes by cutting food one day if you're a kilo more, or eating more if you're a kilo less, you're actually introducing unnecessary restriction and stress, both of which reduce fat loss efficiency. And that's why progress should always be assessed on trends. It should never be a single day. It should be a week, fortnightly, monthly, things like that, because a single data point has a lot of fluctuations. It's not necessarily accurate, whereas an average is your best approach. And that's why daily scale changes just end up being extra noise rather than progress towards your fat loss goal. So the bottom line is these habits look disciplined, they look like they're helping you, but it's just creating instability. And fat loss works best when energy intake is predictable, when training output is repeatable, and when recovery is adequate. It's about creating the stability, as I stress a lot, because it is very, very important. And so the goal isn't necessarily to do more to lose weight. It's to stop doing things that end up cancelling out your efforts, which just become counterproductive. I hope you found this video useful, as these things really helped me, keeping these in mind, and help my clients as well. So if you like this video, please make sure to like, share, and subscribe. Let me know in the comments below what you think, what you want to see next, any comments, queries. And yeah, wishing you happy digestive systems. Until the next one.